This presentation is a pitch for a Senior Design 1 project. This is for UCF, the course being COP 4934, and the project is a tribute to John Cage. My name is Rick Lineker, and on this slide you can see my email and my HEC office number, and this is fall 2019. You can actually review this set of slides in this presentation at ricklineker.com/pitches2019. And the reason I do this is in case you have other questions or you want to just sort of think about it or revisit this topic, you can do that. Just go to Pitches 2019 and you can see all of my senior design pitches. So who is John Cage? Well, most of you probably have never heard of John Cage, but he may have been the most influential music composer of the 20th century. It's not like he's writing music that's on the radio. He's basically a conservatory composer. You'd find him in the halls of, say, Juilliard or Mannes or Manhattan School of Music or Cincinnati Conservatory or something. We call him a legit composer. But he was truly avant-garde. He really pushed the envelope of what music was. His main premise was that all sound is music. And as I go through this, you'll see what I mean. So some examples of John Cage compositions. His most famous one is called 4 minutes 33 seconds. So this is performed, there's no actual music that's played. The performer actually goes out to a piano, sits down for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, and whatever sound you hear during that time is the composition. Another famous one is Concerto for Prepared Piano. And so basically what he did was he retuned a lot of the strings, so it was quarter tones, half tones. He did a lot of putting stuff on the strings of the piano, so you would get weird sounds for some of the notes. And he didn't like write it out. He used a system of charts, of durations, dynamics, melodies. So there was a lot open to interpretation from the performer. And then Cage would use these simple geometric patterns to indicate to the performer sort of how the piece should be played. The last really famous composition is called Music of Changes. And this is based on the ancient I Ching, where everything is done by chance. So Cage and ambient noise. When I hear what we call music, and this is actually a Cage quote, when I hear what we call music, it seems to me that someone is talking. And talking about his feelings or about his ideas of relationships. But when I hear traffic, the sound of traffic, here on 6th Avenue for instance, I don't have the feeling that anyone is talking. I have the feeling that sound is acting. And I love the activity of sound. I don't need sound to talk to me. So basically what he's saying is that even on 6th Avenue, the traffic sounds, that's music to his ears. In the first half of his career, he actually did, try to get some sort of music. But in the second half of his career, it was just basically all sound is music, let's just make some sound. So here's the problem that we're going to solve in this project. So we're going to simultaneously record streams of sound at various locations. So in other words, you might pick 4, 5, 6, however many people, and each one would go out to different locations. Maybe one a traffic location, maybe one at a mall, maybe one, who knows, a concert. And all these different places would sort of give you a different stream. The streams then go into the server, and so there's going to be a big server component to this project. And then the server mixes the sounds. And how the sounds are mixed is yet to be determined. They could be blended, or they could just be sort of chopped up and sort of take their turn. I'm not really sure. That's actually to be determined. And then the server, based on the server, you could listen to the unified sound. I would actually propose that it would be multiple tracks, so that maybe you could separate the first 3 and then the first 3 recordings or streams, and then maybe the second 3 streams, and kind of make it like almost a stereo. So this realizes Cage's most profound ideals but we're using modern technology, which he did not have available to him. And to date, nobody has thought of this idea. I've actually had it on my mind now for about 5 years. I really wanted to do it for, actually it's more than 5 years. His 100th birthday would have been 2012, and at that time I thought it would be really cool to do this idea on his 100th birthday. But I missed that opportunity, and now it's time. This will be, by the time this project gets to final presentation, that will be his 108th birthday. So this all sounds really weird. You might be saying, "Hey, this is really Looney Tunes." But one thing you need to realize is how much John Cage shaped modern composition. And when I was a graduate student at the University of Miami, I attended John Cage Meta Music Festival at the University of Miami. So he came for a weekend and gave some talks. Some of his music was performed. I got to actually attend a special advanced session for the graduate composition students. At that time, I was seeking a master's degree in music composition, so I was eligible for this. And he just held everybody spellbound. Almost every sentence was this nugget, this profound nugget. It was just, and everybody was holding on to everything he said. It was way more than some nut job who was just, trying to make some dumb statement. He really had thought through all of this. For the general session, the audience gave him a 10-minute standing ovation before he started. This was in Gusman Hall down in Miami. And he didn't even start. He just stood up at the podium, and everybody gave him a 10-minute standing ovation. This is the kind of gravitas that John Cage has in the music world. So how the technology is going to work. The server will receive the incoming traffic, mix it, and allow users to hear. Now, I'm not sure if this can be done in real time. I'm not sure if the performance will be good enough to do it in real time. Maybe it will be good enough to have maybe a 5-second delay. Or at the very least, though, what we can do is record it to an MP3 or a WAV or a WMV, whatever it turns out to be, and then give a playlist for like the last composition that was done. The server software will generate a token so that the session will be unique. Okay, so that's how the apps that are going to be sending in the streams, the apps, you'll put in the token, and then that's how the server knows sort of which app streams to mix, because if you had simultaneous app sessions, then it would be totally confusing. At the same time, I'm hoping that other universities can take advantage of this technology, and so what they'll do is they'll generate a token, say for University of Pittsburgh, and then they'll send their team out and they'll make the recording and make a composition based on this technology. So I'm hoping to sort of spread this out to other universities. And if you think that's a crazy idea, this is really sort of reviving the whole idea of John Cage is probably going to land on a lot of fertile territory. The Android and iOS apps, and we're definitely going to have both, will be deployed to various and somewhat unknown locations. So we don't want like the person to say, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here. We want these people to basically decide for themselves where they're going to go. And hopefully it'll be different types of sounds. Hopefully it will not all be traffic sounds. Hopefully it'll be maybe water sounds, a waterfall, maybe ocean sounds, maybe who knows what. The token will be used, though, to give the app access to send its stream to the server. At the appointed time, the apps will start recording and sending the streams to the server. So either the app will trigger automatically based on a server notification, or you'll say, okay, at 2:20 we'll start this, and you press the record button. The server will then receive and mix the streams together, and how this happens we'll have to discuss. As I said, I'm not really sure how the mixing process will go. Maybe they'll just be blended together. Maybe there'll be maybe a portion from this stream and then a portion from this stream. Who knows? Maybe there'll be several different ways, and they're sort of randomly chosen. And then listeners can either listen in real time if that's possible. I'm not sure it is, or to a recorded version. So the deliverables are as follows. Server software that receives streams, mixes them, and makes the mixed sound available. We need a website so that previously recorded sessions can be listened to. What we're going to be creating sort of a repository of all previously created compositions. So when you get to your final presentation, you should have probably several dozen compositions already created so that we can listen to previously recorded sessions. Also, the project will be fully explained on the website with annotations and citations and stuff like that. So the website serves two functions. Basically, explain the project and what it is and the theory behind it and all that kind of stuff. And then secondarily, so that people can hear what has already been recorded. So it's going to be a React Native based app for the Android and iOS. I already have both developer accounts, so that you will be using my developer accounts for that. We need to have full documentation because I'm expecting down the future, either at UCF or other schools, people are going to want to amend the software at a later time. Everything's going to be kept on a GitHub repository with all the software artifacts. The technologies, this is going to be based on a MERN stack. I just think that's going to offer the best results. We can adjust that. Sometimes people prefer Vue. Sometimes people prefer MySQL. I'm open to adjustments, but roughly speaking, MERN stack with potential adjustments to it. Deliverables, server software based on Node that receives streams, mixes them, React Native app, website. I think we've already talked about this. This might be a duplicate slide. You're going to have software engineering deliverables too. We need a Gantt chart that is kept current for the entire project. That way I can see who's doing what. And a Gantt chart is just a really good way to keep a project humming and make sure that it's working correctly. I need a website map. This is going to be pretty simple. There's lots of software that does this. Class diagrams, and I need a testing plan including unit, integration, and end-to-end tests. So your final presentation has to have at least 4 remote listening apps and real-time playback. Basically what you'll do for the final presentation is you'll send at least 4 people out. Okay, so your presentation, you'll discuss the app, you'll talk about what you did, and then at the appointed time you'll record it so that the people on your committee can actually hear either in real time or shortly thereafter the replay. If real time is not possible, I understand that there might be a performance issue, and so if it's not possible, you have to go ahead and just play a deferred playback. Bi-monthly meetings are required. Your team can sign up for any one of those 6 times there. They're all on Monday and Wednesday. 12:30 to 1:15, 3 to 4:15, and 6 to 7:15.